You wake to the sound of a coffee maker sputtering because you forgot to descale it again. The noise grates at you, an early reminder that effort never quite equals reward. The kitchen window is faintly fogged. Last night's rain left streaks of grit on the glass. You tap the counter with an impatient rhythm while waiting for caffeine strong enough to burn through the film of ordinary exhaustion that has settled over every morning of your life. Routine holds you together. Alarm, shower, shirt, key bowl, commute. Traffic has its own pulse. The slow shove of red tail lights across the overpass. The same morning host's chatter filling the car. The same billboard trying to sell happiness as a subscription. You rehearse lines you never end up saying to your boss. Things about overtime pay. About needing a weekend that actually belongs to you. None of it leaves your throat. At the small logistics firm where you've worked 7 years too many, the warehouse breathes heat through vents that never shut off. The foreman likes calling everyone team while pointing out that numbers are down. You load pallets, schedule deliveries, sign forms in triplicate. Work passes not like time, but like erosion. By lunch, your stomach flutters from too much coffee and no food. By closing, conversation feels like static. The only thing waiting for you afterward is the hum of your apartment, the computer idling, the vague promise of beer and quiet. Except tonight there's a call from Trevor, old friend from school, relentless in nostalgia, newly single again. He wants a drink. You tell yourself it's harmless. You haven't seen him in months, and he always manages to remind you of a version of you that once laughed more easily. You meet downtown, at a bar with exposed brick and too loud music that tries to belong in a city with ambition. Trevor buys a round, then another. The conversation slides from jokes to grievances, old relationships, office politics, how quickly hope thins after 30. He says you should loosen up. You already have. By midnight, you're both standing outside arguing about the past and whose fault it was that certain friendships died off. He needles you about being uptight, about never living a little. And because alcohol loosens everything, memory, restraint, consequence, you snap back harder than you mean to. The words hit him wrong. His smile collapses into white noise. You walk away first, muttering something final, something you regret before finishing it. It should have ended there. In the parking structure, rain has returned, not enough to wash anything clean, just enough to turn concrete slick. You stumble toward your car and realize you still have Trevor's lighter from when he ducked out for a smoke. Maybe you'll save it for next time, though you doubt there'll be one. The thought mixes with the burn of liquor. You climb in, start the engine, and then the passenger door yanks open. He's there, soaked, angry, words spilling before sense catches up. You try to explain, apologize, laugh it off, but the argument revives too fast. A lit match dropped back into gasoline. He slams the door shut and keeps talking, leaning too close, his breath sour with whiskey and smoke. You grip the wheel as if it anchors you to civility. He calls you a coward, says you've always been one. Something in you twists. Heat rising through your chest until speech bursts out as volume. He turns away, muttering, moving behind the car as if to storm off. You're still trembling when your hand slips. The heel of your palm knocks the gear lever. The tires lurch against wet pavement. A heavy thud, short, solid, impossible to mishear, cuts through the sound of rain. You slam the brake. The car jerks to a stop. For a moment, everything is silent except the hiss of water on rubber. The taillights flare red across the concrete, outlining a human shape motionless on the ground. Trevor lies there, twisted at an angle that doesn't make sense, rain gathering dark in his hair. The corner of the barrier is slick with something that isn't just water, and you know before you move that you've already gone too far to undo it. For a moment you sit there, hands fixed to the wheel, the car still idling. rain whispering across the windshield like static that won't clear. Your chest feels hollow, a cavity carved around one small sound that keeps replaying in your head. The thud. More memory than noise now. You lean forward, forehead touching the steering wheel, the smell of engine heat and wet asphalt pressing in. Then you open the door. The air outside is colder than you expected. Your shoes sink slightly in the water, pooled along the curb. Trevor doesn't move. His body is half illuminated by the car's brake lights, skin tinted an unnatural red that shifts with the rhythm of the wipers still dragging across the glass. You take a step closer, then stop, as if the air between you might crack. His eyes are open but not seeing. You kneel, whisper his name. Check for breathing, because it feels like something people do even when there's nothing to find. The rain collects on his jacket, sliding in small runnels down the fabric, pooling near his hand. There's no pulse. You don't shout or cry. Your body just won't. Somewhere farther down the street, a siren hums to itself, directionless. Minutes dissolve. The engine continues to idle, tailpipe rattling softly, exhaust merging with mist. You think about moving him, then don't. You think about calling someone, then don't. You just stand there beside the red reflection trembling in the puddles. Eventually, the cold starts to seep behind your ribs. You turn back to the driver's seat, slump down, stare through the windshield at nothing. The rain blurs the world into a smudge of light and movement, and in that blur something in you quietly gives up resisting. The noise of the city retreats, leaving only the hum of the car and your heartbeat, steady, stunned, impossibly calm. When the sirens finally stop nearby, the lights paint everything silver and blue. You keep your palms flat on your thighs, watching silhouettes approach through the wet glass. It's strange how simple the moment feels. No rush of guilt, no denial, just the slow awareness of an ending folding itself around you. One thought lands and stays. If this had been a story, somewhere it might have turned back before the gear shifted. But this isn't a story, it's what's left after.